All right. You know, it occurs to me, I probably should have done a speed test before I started this. Oh well, too late now. All right. We are back. It's worth emphasizing the back part because took a bit of a hiatus there for a couple weeks. Uh, didn't really plan to. Just sort of happened. Some days I was busy, some days I got tired, and other days I just like, I don't feel like doing this today. Not the correct, not the correct attitude to have. Not an excuse I intend to keep going forward. Hit a point where I decided I had to get back on track. Not that I was majorly on track to begin with. A lot of this is still like getting used to it, getting used to the concept of this whole live streaming thing. Still technically new territory here, so in any case, we're officially back. Goal for the stream right now is probably going to be shooting for at least 2 hours. I know I tend to get a little burnt out part way into it, but I have also found in previous streams that I hit a point where I get myself occupied, get my brain moving, have activities to do, have enough of a checklist to check off. I should be able to find the energy to keep going. So let's hope we hit that. And if we do, and I imagine 2 hours should feel like nothing. But all that said, let's get started, or get back. Let's get back to it. And last played day was doesn't say. It says 3 weeks ago. We're gonna get a bit of a pause here so I can answer a text. All right, let's go. Oh, man, it's dark. I probably should invest in lights. Bit of a catch-up point, I suppose. I've spent the last few weeks mostly working. I say working. I haven't been working a ton. Um, there's a lot of stuff going on. Not like so much. I will say a lot of it is mostly just due to the fact that I got lazy and just didn't bother get back on in the saddle like I should have. So yeah, I have to remind myself to be aware of the multitasking challenge. I'm sure if you watched my previous streams, or you'll probably even notice it today, multitasking is not exactly my strong suit. So if I start to seem like I'm trailing off, well, that's mostly just because I'm kind of struggling to keep my thoughts together at the moment. If you're gonna want more structured, more coherent thoughts, I'm gonna have to pause, which is, just how it is sometimes. Alright. Since it's been like 3 weeks or 3 or so weeks, I'm gonna have to remind myself what the deal was. I do believe last time I was here, I added another iron patch to the factory area. So iron's looking good. I should probably start using it though, because I've only got like all this blueprinted here. That's my pollution. Seem to be doing alright. Biters are at currently, I think I'm dealing with medium biters, but I think firepower wise I should be fine for the time being. However, I do believe last time I believed I needed to get military science going as soon as I could, because my firepower will only get me so far. But at the very least, I got walls automated. Why do I have all this stuff in my inventory? Let's see. Got that established. All this. I suppose might as well just move on to that. Give me some military science. Although I will say it's not doing a whole lot, not getting a whole lot in the way of stone. Should probably add more to the. Should add more stone in, so we're getting more bricks. Gonna need those bricks. Yeah, it's small, but hopefully it'll do. I could set a bit of a perimeter wall right around here. A little tiny oil patch right there. Okay. Oh, you look at that. Our first viewer. Alright. Historic moment. First actual viewer on. It's pretty epic. I know. Not really reflecting it with a proper amount of enthusiasm, but it is cool. This is like my 7th stream. I haven't had any viewers up to this point, so pretty epic. Well, sorry, got sidetracked. All right, it's a tiny patch, but hey, better than nothing. There you go. You get buzz all the way up. My inability to create straight lines on full display. Let's see, do I just add it to this? Yeah, we're not getting a whole lot of stone on this one, so might as well just add it to the currently existing one. Okay, before we turn this on, better make sure I got ammo. Make sure I got the defensive perimeter, because that thing's gonna start shooting that pollution. You know, it'd be kind of hilarious is by the time I'm done blueprinting, done finishing, like putting up all these actual blueprints. I bet you I won't even need. I bet you I'll need to change the base again. But that's just life in Factorio, I guess. So funny story. In my time off, you know, my personal time when I'm not doing anything, not working, not doing whatever. Oh, first chat. Woo! Welcome, welcome. What was I saying? Okay. What was I saying? I don't remember now. Yeah, it probably wasn't important. Okay. Oh yeah, yeah. When I wasn't playing or streaming during that weird hiatus I was on, I was playing Factorio, just in a different saving, obviously. And what's funny is a lot of it is just like I like to try out different ideas, and some of those ideas may or may not translate to the stream. We'll see. There's some concepts in Factorio that I personally just don't have a decent grasp on. Partly because I don't. Partly because I don't. What's what I'm looking for? Partly because I don't try it, I don't test it myself, and also partly because I just don't get it sometimes. So it does help me at least to try out these different ideas. And to be fair, in that one, it's a heavily modded phase. I said heavily. It's probably a bit of an under. Well, probably underselling it a little bit about how modded it is. It's like so insanely modded that it takes my computer a bit to load everything. Not like a bit, just enough to where though I have to wait on the loading screen for a while, as opposed to like standard Factorio where it just boots up within a minute, it's like less than a minute, a few seconds, But mechanics might be different, but hopefully, but I do hope at the very least that whatever mechanics I'm testing out and trying out in those are benefiting me here, because just trying to hopefully give me a better, more solid grasp on the different mechanics and such. And for example, I think I'm getting better at planning out bases. Still can't avoid the spaghetti, and I still have yet to avoid walking myself into a hilarious wall where I build an entire setup, realize that setup is wanting, and then realizing that the setup I can't just build around this setup. I can't just use like spaghetti or something like that, attach something on the side, yada yada, to make things better. I could sort of do it, but it would be so much chaos. It introduce so much more chaos than is necessary, and things would just kind of fall apart right then and there. It's usually what kills other saves I've had in the past, or where I just hit that wall, where I walked myself into a annoying corner. Of course, that may still happen here because I'm still, still me. Not wouldn't necessarily say I'm terrible at the game, but there are some aspects of the game that I tend to struggle with. So we'll likely be seeing more of that. However, we'll try not to pull the coward's move and just, try again or do a different save. That'd be kind of weird and kind of frustrating, I imagine, for a lot of people to just quit out and where I'm at when I could easily just, clean it up, try something different. Okay. We got a bit more stone coming in. Now we need to think about production. So for military science, that's this guy right here. I should probably research that. I'm going to need walls, which I've already automated. I'm going to need grenades, which is thankfully and mercifully easy to automate. I'm also going to need armor-piercing rounds, which is actually, which is great because I'm going to need the ammo anyway. So, especially when I start getting to big biters, which I don't have to deal with just yet. Am I getting any biter attacks currently? So far, no carcasses, so I'm not being attacked just yet. However, these guys are definitely eating some pollution. Well, maybe not. Let's see. Oh, okay. So, okay, they're not really getting hit by pollution at the moment, but they're right there. Like they're gonna be starting getting the whiff of that pollution real soon, and they are not gonna like it. But where evolution is below 55, I forget. I forget exactly how high evolution has to be before I start getting the big biters. But it will definitely be a nightmare when that happens, because big biters are, as stated, a nightmare to fight. Had to give up an entire saving once because I messed up I messed up the calculation. I changed up the evolution factor, and I accidentally made them essentially evolve a lot faster than my factory was able to manage. I got big biters way too early, and I didn't even have armor piercing rounds yet, and that killed that entire saving. It was annoying. It was so annoying. But so hopefully we can get decent production for armor piercing rounds up and running before we have to deal with the big biters. So I don't even have assemblers, so I better go grab some assemblers. I should really put my storage, like my little box storage area, closer to the factory. Cut down on walk times. Trouble is, I already got a ton of stuff in the boxes, so transporting it would be tedious. Better put that. Sometimes I forget just how little you get, and sort of how little these ore patches are on default settings. I forgot this entire iron. Why am I not using these little auxiliary iron patch? There you go. You always want to go for full saturation with these. Now I came here for assemblers, putting walls away. Gotta put walls away. Don't need these at the moment. Okay. Don't need miners at the moment either, so... Okay, so... Don't need that. Definitely need these. Some of these. Guess it's everything. Okay. I'm gonna have to watch out. I keep saying okay a lot. Don't ask me why, it's just the way I talk. Alright, I'm gonna need more belts. Did I set up a catcher for belts? I did. Thank you, past me. Let's see, we got... Oh, wait. Small problem. I say small problem. It is definitely a small problem. I need to belt over coal because I need coal to make the grenades. Easy fix. Just hilarious. And mildly annoying. Question is, where am I going to get it from? The trials of busing. I think I can squeeze it through here. Alternatively, I could just take the long way. I think I might just take the long way. Yeah. I remember this is one save I was doing a while back where I really, really did not want to use trains. Still kind of don't, but I've gotten better at the train about, train signals and such in different runs, so I'm less worried about it now. But there was a point where I was so determined to not use trains that there was this one saving I had where I belted everything, and I mean like you see how as big as this is, like it was even bigger than this map right here, and everything was belted all the way to this one spot to where the bus was. It's just how determined I was to not use trains. Of course, it's rather impractical and way too time consuming. Takes a lot of belts, which means a ton of resources. So, probably not going to fall back on that in this saving here. So, alright, let's see. I need iron and coal for the grenades. Okay. Grenades are not a hard item to make, thank goodness. I think the biggest issue with grenades is that they are really slow to make. So just gotta keep that in mind. I got. So I'm probably just gonna have to make sure I use a lot of assemblers here, and yeah. I definitely want to try this output input priority. Okay. Now I just need to bring the coal over when it gets here, when it inevitably gets here. I don't think I'll need coal for anything else. I don't think so. If I end up being wrong about that, so be it. But right now, we're just gonna do this here. I'm not a belt aficionado. This is not gonna. I'm not a bus aficionado. So if a lot of this belting seems nonsensical to you, it probably because it somewhat is. Ugh. Already got it. We've already got issues. It's not a big issue, just eh. Alright. Okay. Probably should have done this slightly differently. Okay, no, okay, I'm just gonna have to change a belt route. Okay, that's better. Okay, so it can be a bit of a second person's in. Hello, Mr. Mello. Welcome to the stream. If as I'm aware, for both people, both the two current viewers I have, I'm sure none of you have any idea what is happening, but this is Factorio. And don't worry, you're in good company. I don't know what's happening either. I'm just doing stuff. But hey, welcome to the stream. Thanks for coming. For those of you who are late to the party, and for those of you, I mean you who are one person who is late to the party, I'm currently setting up the means by which I will increase my military power. Why? Because bugs need to die. Am I using? Yes, I am. This should be decent enough to start. So that's okay, and connect it. No recipe set, so there we go. You know the best part is, not only will I got one ingredient included with will include another ingredient in my military science, but also I got some deforestation tools which will make sense later. But we got grenades. And that's 3. Sorry, that's 2 out of 3 ingredients made. Now I just need armor. Now I just need armor-piercing rounds, which will require stuff. Most notably, I jumped the gun. I just remembered I need steel. Armor-piercing rounds take take ammo, copper, and steel. And I don't have steel set up yet. Guess I gotta take care of that. Thankfully, I blueprinted it earlier, so I just need. It's a simple matter of putting it down. Wait, hang on. I do have steel set up. Never mind, I'm an idiot. Aha! I see where my mistake was. I hadn't I hadn't fully belted it all the way. I try to make sure the bus moves together as one unit whenever I move it up, but I guess I forgot to belt steel all the way up, so I thought I didn't have it set up. That's on me. But thank goodness at least. Oh, how are we looking? Evolution is currently at 36, which means we definitely got medium biters, but I don't think we'll have to worry about big biters until evolution 50 something. And if anyone's confused, evolution factor has 3 influences: time, which basically means in-game time. They will slowly evolve if you dilly-dally. That there's pollution factor, which is basically how much of this they're absorbing, which I guess I must be hitting a point where I'm not polluting a ton because the pollution cloud has moved back. And yeah, no, they're not getting in pollution. I didn't even get attacked, which is actually surprising. Wonder what the deal is there. Honestly, I should be counting my blessings because, no biter attacks is great, and no biter attacks is great. It gives me some breathing room. Mind you, it's not gonna last very long considering my pollution cloud is like right here, and I'm expanding. So that'll be fun. All right, where was I? Right, armor piercing rounds. Let's get that going. This is gonna be it. It's gonna take me more gonna be a single row type situation here, cause I've made another mistake. Or did I? Yes, I did, but it's okay. It's a manageable mistake. Okay. Let's stay putting it right around here. Better get these out of the way. We'll worry about that later. Alright, armor piercing rounds will be right around here, so above that line. Oh, 8's a good start. And it's gonna be like set up like so. Starting with, I really gotta stop standing on these belts that take me to places I don't want to go. And I'm gonna need copper. Sure thing. Hope you have a good one, man. Take care of yourself. Thanks for coming. Sorry, that's one of the viewers had to go. We all got lives. It's okay to go about living life, you know. Okay, now I need to bring steel over. Let's see. It's gonna be like right around here. And then right there. Okay. And then I suppose now is a good time to fix this or address this. Belt weaving. I'd say it's an art form. But I mean, it probably is. It's not. However, it is an art form I would not consider myself to be a master at. But I have learned a thing or two. Now let's get this moving here. I'm gonna need more. I need more long inserters. Which good news is I have some resources to make some of them. So. I was quite literally thinking a moment ago that part of the thing that I do to myself is I kind of spoil myself with the heavily modded runs. For example, there's a mod, one of the mods in other runs I've done is the Bob's Inserters mod, which gives these inserters multi-directionality, so they can pick up, you know, they can pick up diagonally, they can drop diagonally, they can go pick up from the top and then pass it to the bottom, to the side here. I don't know if any of that makes sense to anybody, but it's really handy. First and foremost, because you can just do all kinds of crazy builds that way. However, standard belts, the standard inserters is like they face one way, they grab it, and then they pass to the immediate opposite end. You can rotate it in four different directions, but you are essentially locked to those different directions. And if you want to do like these, like multiple belts and such, you need these long-handed inserters, which are basically the same as the inserters, only they skip a block, and then they jump a block too. They're really handy, but you know, there's limitations, and there are of course limitations that one can overcome with, you know, creative belts and designs, which I think that kind of creativity mainly comes from just understanding how the system works. So this is not me complaining about how it works. I actually do like the functionality of the way inserters function, especially especially since, for me, knowing. I'm sorry. I just made a hilarious mistake. I forgot a crucial step in the armor piercing round. See, I got iron plates, got copper plates, I got steel plates. However, if you look at the recipe, it doesn't take iron plates. It takes firearm magazines. So I gotta tear this thing down. And it's just the sort of things you gotta deal with, you know? The funny part, I think, is that it's not the first time I've made this mistake. Every single time I think about, oh, armor piercing rounds, I need to make armor piercing rounds. What's the ingredients to armor piercing rounds? Iron plates? Yeah, that makes sense. And then I find out later, no, it's not. You need firearm magazines. Those take iron plates, so it's an easy mistake to make. But no, it's not. You don't need iron. You don't need iron plates to make fire. You don't need. It's not an ingredient. It is part of an ingredient. Adventures in Factorio. Hey, I can make heavy armor. Sorry for the side tangent there. Okay. I got this set up here already, so it should be easy enough to fix. I think. No, wait. I do need to rethink a portion of this. And I should probably... just enough inventory space. Great. Now I can handle more bites from the biters. Let's see. Let me get... here's this, my Annie. I was gonna shoot for... overproduction isn't gonna kill me. But it might be an inconvenience I don't need to deal with. No, it's fine. It'll be fine. I just want to make sure I have space for these belts, which I do believe I should have that. Yeah, that'll work. It's a good thing I understand the recipe to this well enough. I can just put everything kind of just slots together. Mind you, I think that that's just an example of just how many times I've done this sort of thing. There we go. Now I just gotta turn this thing on and watch it go. Okay. Now I can make the armor-piercing rounds. Ah, brain fart. Okay. Let's give me 1, 2, 3, this much space. And okay, now we're fine. Okay. Let's see. I need copper. Wait. Let's see. What was I doing initially? I was going to do 8. There you go. If you're wondering what the deal was with the momentary pauses, the answer is simple. I'm trying to I'm doing stuff and I'm thinking, and I'm really terrible at multitasking. So, I will try to keep my commentary moving, but just be aware that that's just how I operate sometimes. If you'd like me to continue to talk in nonsensical sentences, I will continue. I will talk as I'm working, and then you will get pure, straight nonsense from me. There you go. Okay. Now let's get this up and running. Wait, did I count this right? No, I did. Okay. Of course, this is just to make armor-piercing rounds. I still need... I still need to put this whole thing together and turn it into the military science. So, we're not quite done, but we are making progress. How are we doing on pollution? Still no pollutant. There's still no nests getting polluted, so we got time. Why is there just a lone pole sitting out there? Wait, how's it going on this way? Yep, medium biters. Okay. Armor piercing rounds. They figured a way for this to balance itself out. I remember thinking trying to think of a solution about how to balance this out. Because otherwise, if I don't, it's going to be just one lane. Wait. Was it? No, it's just going to put it back in the same lane. Let me think. Trying to balance this out here, because it's all going to be deposited on one side of the belt, and I want a fully saturated belt. Let's see. Do I? So it's gonna come down this way. It's gonna be like this way. It's gonna be. Let's give that a shot. Alright. Everything's working. Alright, we got ourselves armor-piercing rounds. I set up a collection box. And it does look like yep. We're getting ammo. We're getting ammo on both ends, both sides. So we're operational. Downside is we're talking about armor-piercing rounds. These things have a slow production rate. No matter. We'll deal with it. Now it's time to turn all this into military. Turn this into military science. Although it's gonna be a bit slow going with all the. I'm just gonna expand this. I can deal with the rate of the grenade rate. I can deal with the walls. Yeah, we'll be fine. But I'm definitely gonna need a lot more of these armor-piercing rounds. Let's see. We're at 8. Let's go with 12. Let's make it 12. There you go. a good thing expansion is easy with this design. It ain't gonna increase it by much, but at least we get something. Now then, same basic principle. Let's go this way and playing up this way. This one going this way. Get ourselves the assemblers and 6. Do I do 7? Nah, let's do 8. Yeah, we're doing 8. Which honestly, in my experience, considering how military science is probably like, it's probably one of the least necessary science packs. However, it is definitely going to be 100%. It's definitely going to be necessary because military science will keep me from dying. But most research and sciences mostly need the other three. You'll see all this stuff like the green packs here, green packs here, black stuff here, and all that. The real big one, the real big science pack I'm gonna need is blue science, the chemical science pack, which still a ways from getting, but that's a problem for future me. Let's get more longhand inserters so we can put the rest of this together. It will be a bit slow going because, as you noticed, a good portion of it is being taken off the bus and being put into a box for later use, not in a science pack. Well, since the design seems to work, I might as well repeat it. And it is being damaged. Oh. I see how it is. And I guess spiders are getting polluted. Where though? Must be just like a little corner right here. Okay. That's fine. I've extended out far enough to where this is bound to happen anyway. Better grab some turrets before this becomes a bigger issue. I don't know I forget which stream it was, but if there was that stream, one of those streams where I got hit by a pretty nasty biter attack and like half my base got trashed, and I was like so annoyed that I basically just reloaded my save, which is not a practice I intend to get into in this stream, because part of this is dealing with Factorio and all of the issues, all of the headaches that will come my way, and just dealing with them, not pulling the coward's move. Deal with them as they come. I made that exception for that one particular case because that was just wasn't in the mood to deal with it at the time. Let's see, I can put down 2 more. Let's get this set up first. Well, it's gonna get a little awkward. What do I mean by that? Well, I kind of have to do something right now. So it's gonna be a bit of a gamble, but let's give it a shot. I'm gonna I'll be I'm gonna be AFK for a couple minutes. If anyone is watching this, feel free to. I'll leave you with me spinning right here, and Lord be willing, no biters eat my nest. All right, be right back. And the back. Sorry about that. Real world stuff called me away by the time back. And looks like nobody ate me while I was gone, so the mission successful, I guess. Okay. Let's get this all set up. It looks like armor piercing rounds and all that. It looks like we're doing good on that. I'm gonna belt this downward. I'm gonna bring it over here. Hopefully it'll slot in nice and easy. Alright, now I just need to turn it on. And there we have it. Military science. Bit of a slow goer, but as long as we got it moving. I suppose with that out the way, that we could plug that into the science. I'm gonna stand up a bit more defenses here, and then we're gonna go on to our next step. Quick question is, what is that next step going to be? I think, looking at the state of my belts, it's probably gonna be increasing throughput on my iron plates. Yeah, man, stop just shy of some rocks. Crazy. Oh. Fighter attack. Good news is it was just spitters. Even the big ones even the big ones just die within seconds of being of an attack. So it's nothing to worry about there. All right, defenses are solid. Science is moving, albeit fairly slowly. But slow movement is better than no movement. And we can increase. It looks like, yeah, we can. Oh wait, no, that's a lot. That's a lot. Yeesh. All right, not gonna worry about that for the time being. Wait, what does it take to make these? Defend your castles. Just take gears, circuits, and okay. I tend not to use defender capsules. Just not really my thing. Yeah. Let's get those other smelting sticks up and running. Although I should check on my power supply. Nah, power's doing okay. Power's doing just fine. Just looking at this. Look at my iron ore patch slowly dying. Well, still got how much on it? About 64K on this patch. Still got a ways. Won't be losing out on this on the iron patch just yet, but better be ready for it. Okay, put that there. There. Grenades over here. Stuff I don't need anymore. Right there. Yee. Turrets. Ammo. Don't need these assemblers at the moment. What else? What am I doing next? Okay, I do need these. So I'm gonna need lots of these. Why is this? Don't need that. Okay. Just gonna be a lot of these, you know. Miners with nothing to mine. That one's doing alright. I'm gonna have to extend my radar out at some point. And I'm gonna expand my borders. Those nests are too close for comfort, and I'm gonna need more space. All right. So, well, I will give props to this particular smelting stack design. It does lend itself. It does make. Sorry, I'm gonna listen to train of thought here. You definitely use less inserters in this particular smelting stack design. Other designs I've used generally involve using long-handed inserters as well, but that's mostly just because I'm a bit weird about doing this whole like mixing two different items on the same belt. Me being me, I always try to have every single belt just fully saturated with a single item, because it just feels proper that way. Don't ask me why. It just does. Okay, we're gonna increase this throughput, and of course I'm gonna have to expand this. So I'm gonna need quite a few. I'm gonna need belts. I'm gonna need lots of belts. Of course, that's true of Factorio in general. Belt automation is key to success. And it looks like, yeah, those guys are getting quite a bit of pollution. So. Alright. Get this down, get it there. Okay. Oh yeah, yeah. I've just remembered a fatal flaw in my design that thankfully is really easy to fix. Because the way I have my inserters set up, along with these poles, whoops, the inserters weren't getting powered properly because they weren't all within the range. I think it's just because I did this design incorrectly, but thankfully it's easy to fix. Yep, already passed an hour. Hasn't really felt all that bad. Not that it felt bad before, just tiring. Like I said, it's always good when I have something to do, something to keep me occupied. As long as I got that, then the rest kind of just handles itself. Alright. Let's see, get this powered up. The only thing we're missing now is resources, which thankfully I have right here. It's two new stacks, two whole other lanes of iron to add to the bus. Hopefully that will aid in production across the board. Alright, there we go. Iron bus, good to go. Hopefully that lasts us a while, and yeah, hopefully it does go well enough. It looks kind of weird, but well, at least stuff we're doing. At least it's at least it's working, right? Sorry about that. Again, I was answering a text. You know, of course I would have that when I'm streaming. Not during the week. Not at a reasonable hour. I'm joking around. It's not that. It's not a big deal. All right, so we got iron stood up. Military science is coming along. Not amazingly, but better than nothing. Suppose the big question is, what is our next venture then? I think to use a Warhammer term, exterminatus is in order. Maybe. Yeah. Yeah, I could go for some biter killing. Well, my real next venture should actually be is getting oil, because that's what I need to unlock chemical science and a bunch of other stuff on the tech tree I have yet to unlock. But it's all locked behind oil processing. I suppose though, in the meantime, I can start getting ammo production up and running so that my bullets do more damage, which will be a big help. All right, power's doing all right, but niche. I'm going to need to add another coal patch to increase power production, because this will only get me so far, and I need that coal for other things. So yeah, I think I'll do that. Should I do that now, or was that there the whole time? Maybe it was. Doesn't really matter. Let's see. Maybe I can hold off on exterminatus. I'm carrying coal ore when I don't need to. It looks like down to only 2 lanes of ore from this patch now, which means I don't need. Okay, yeah, I can take off. Don't need this balancer anymore. Thank you, belt balancer. You have served me well. Let's see. Do I? It's weird that I can deposit further from. It's weird that I can drop ore from so far away. No, okay, I can't. All right, no. I thought I could drop. I thought I could drop the ore further away from from when I could pick it up. That would be weird. Okay, yeah, that's fine. Everything's functional. Well, thought I was gonna have to work today. Turns out not. Now I don't know what I'm gonna do with myself for the rest of the day. What a nice little problem to have. I mean, I think it's nice. Let's see. Increase that. Okay, let's see. We have access to pump jacks, so I'm gonna go make me a pump jack. Gonna go grab this the oil patch right here. Funny thing about these trigger technologies, this thing won't go off until I mine some oil, which really just means I just need to slap down a pump jack and power it for like once, and then that will unlock me oil processing, which should unlock a good portion of these sciences down here, which only take red and green science anyway. So I already got that stood up. So it is just a logical thing to do. I say logical. I'm not a logical person. What's it doing? Okay. Pump jack just needs this. Wow, that's a lot of steel. Oh. Some of this. Only need is one. For now, at least. I'm definitely gonna need a lot more pump jacks in the future. Which got quite a few oil fields that are gonna be put to use. Probably gonna start with this one because it's closer to home. I mean, there is this one, but it's not really a big deal. I remember oil was one of the things that gave me the biggest headache starting in earlier runs. It's not so much of a headache now that I understand proper ratios, but alright, there's oil processing unlocked, and now we got a bunch of stuff. I say a bunch, it's only like three-ish things, but there's a whole bunch of other stuff that those things unlock. A lot of stuff. Gonna get access to quite a bit of stuff before I actually get to chemical science. Of course, there's several steps before I even several steps I need to get through to unlock chemical science. Anyway, so nothing too surprising. Oh man, I forgot we got bulk considered so early. Bump in oil, but I guess it's got some sort of. I guess this must be some sort of like buffer. I want to give my bullet time some time to process before I move on to other things. So let's go kill some bugs. Don't want to lose my stuff, so I'm gonna put it all in boxes. Not that I'll lose my stuff, I'll just die. Steel blades going here. This one goes here. There you go. Now I need turrets, ammo. Gonna need a lot more ammo than that. I suppose I can grab some grenades while I'm at it. And of course I'm gonna need fish. Lots of fish. I think, did I grab all the fish out of this pond here? I think I did. No, I didn't. But I think I'm gonna leave them alone. Okay. Quite a few bugs I'm gonna need to take care of. I honestly, wait, what's that? That's concerning. That looks concerning, actually. I am probably gonna have to start thinking about a perimeter defense. even if my turret, even if these turrets are doing well enough to keep the bugs, the biters away, they can only go so far. Then or eventually the swarm's gonna start getting bigger, and of course we got patrols, biter expansions, all the whole shebang. So I could go out and exterminate nests, but with biter expansions, I need a defensive perimeter. Okay, that was just a remnant of a different attack. So, with that in mind, I should have that in mind. A good spot to start will probably be these little cliffs, these little spot here. There's a lot of these cliffs over here, which I can definitely make use of down the road. I gotta shoot for this big nest up here. What am I doing? Running off without sufficient amount of ammo, and without fish. Like I got a death wish or something. Although I do have heavy armor, I do got heavy armor now, so yeah. It'll extend my lifespan slightly. I got enough turrets. What I need is ammo. That should be decent. Alright. Last thing I need is grab me some fish, because that will keep me alive. Getting stuck on rocks. I'm still laughing about the fact that I did a purely random seed when I generated this map, and I'm still laughing. Like, of course, I would get. Of course, when I get my when I randomly generate a map, of course I would get desert. It's heaven forbid I get the easy Factorio play. Alright, that should be enough fish. Good measure. Well, those guys are definitely preparing an attack. Ah, darn. This medium biters pack a punch. Try as I might, you can't get past my turret defense. You're too squishy. I believe they call this tactic turret creep. It is, and it is basically my go-to for strategy for taking out nests. Typically, until you get to higher evolution periods and the higher levels of evolution. Wait. Oh. Got attacked, huh? Looks like spiders. Must have been this nest down here. But I guess I'll go take care of that. Take that here in a bit. You know something funny? Those worms used to freak me out so much. Still kind of do. Something just about the way that does, about the whole animation and the sound effects and everything. Just, eesh. Spiders still kind of creep me out too. Like I kid you not, there are these creatures they introduced later. There's a new kind of creature they introduced later in the game on the farm planet. Is on the farm planet. They're honestly kind of freaky looking, but I still think the biters are freakier. Of course, that's just my opinion. I wouldn't necessarily say I have arachnophobia, but something about giant bugs that can inspire fear in certain people. I'm most likely being one of them. But end of the road is when you guys run out of worms to defend you. That is honestly the biggest issue with the nests. Spiders don't take much effort to kill. Spiders even less. The main thing you need to worry about is the hives, and honestly, turrets make short work. Turrets make short work of hives, or spawners, I think they're called. And the big problem are the worms, because those things can like roast you from a distance, and then on top of that, their range, they have enough range to where it's really hard to get it. You can't really get a good turret defense up with how much range they have. So the general strat I employ, especially with turret creep, is try to stay just outside the range of the worms, which there's an easy way to check that. All you gotta do is, you see how it's kind of like sunk in to the ground like that? So there's a bit of, you got a small amount of space between, I'm gonna get closer. Right now he's sunk in. That means he's inactive. Which means right now I'm still out of range of the worm. But if I get close enough, there he goes. Okay. When the worm pops out of the hole, that means pops out of the hole. You're not quite in range just yet, but you are within range to alert the worm to your presence. So what I do is get just to that point where right as he just about moves out the ground, and then place down a wall of turrets. You're just outside the worm's range of fire, so he won't shoot at your turrets. And I use the turrets as a defensive line, and go in and charge the worm. I think I prefer to charge it myself because it's easier to damage is less of a concern because I can heal that up by just chomping, munching on some fish. So the turrets are defensive. The turrets are essentially just a defensive measure. There's a slight downside to doing what I'm doing currently. As stated, there are multiple factors that influence the evolution of biters. There's time, so they're going to evolve one way or another, even if you leave them alone. Like even if you never come into contact with the biters for the entire game, they will evolve, albeit rather slowly. Then, of course, there's a pollution factor, so the more pollution they absorb, the higher their evolution grows. Then there's the third factor, which is a destruction factor, which means evolution goes up the more biter nests I destroy. It's not biters specifically that influence it. Right now we've jumped up to evolution 4.41, which is fine. We're still got a ways to go before we get big biters. But it's also why. But that's also why I'm saying I'm definitely going to need to stand up a proper perimeter defense. If I can get flamethrowers soon, that'd be pretty swell. There's one thing biters hate more than a hail of bullets. It's flames, flaming hot oil thrown in their face. Which is actually a good way to take out a lot of problems. Because who in the world likes a flaming hot oil to the face, other than a psychopath? Fortunately, we're dealing with bugs. I don't think psychopathy enters the equation. That is a lot of worms. Thankfully, it appears to be mostly. Oh, okay, yeah, no. We're getting medium spitters. Which is still not much of a concern. Spitters are still wimps. Alright. Worms will get a lot easier when I unlock rocket launchers. Then turret creeping will become super easy. All the worm spits turning this place into a minefield. Taking way too much damage. I'm gonna try and avoid as many close calls as I can. Alright. This is going alright. Ah. Cut it way too close there. I'm running out of fish. I'm gonna run out of fish before I actually take out this nest. Yep. That's never gonna happen. Okay, hopefully I have. Yeah, they'll be fine. Got resupply on fish. We you're playing a dangerous game and going up against nests at this stage of the game, the evolution, higher evolution gives the nests more health. I don't know if it gives the worms and the other biters more health, but with nests taking longer to destroy, that basically means I'm at greater risk of sudden death. Plus, my turrets will be using up way more ammo, so I'm gonna have to keep an eye on that. They're doing fine though. They all got full stacks of cartridges, which tend to last a while. So that's why I wasn't all that concerned about leaving to resupply on fish. And it's game over. Ain't much the biters can do without worms to defend them. Easy peasy. I think I'll set up the first perimeter wall right around here. It's mostly just a lot of space, so it won't be that big of a deal. Yeah, okay. Let's see. About to unlock physical projectile damage. There we go. We are now doing more ammo damage, bullet damage, whatever you want to call it. Something that occurs to me. I have an independent ammo production facility that I could just turn into a. I should really be turning those into armor-piercing rounds so that I'm producing a lot more armor-piercing rounds rather than just simply stealing it from the main production line. Of course, that actually might be an issue now that I think about it. I mean, we cleared out quite a few nests, which is good. So, still a success either way. But speaking of the future, which is something I'm definitely going to need to be worrying about, I will definitely need to be employing a lot more armor-piercing rounds. I don't know if it was easy enough to tell, but those medium biters were taking longer to kill with the standard ammo cartridges. And yeah, it is going to be an issue. Because ammo production is right here, but steel plates over there. It's going to take some wondrous spaghetti to get it over there. Actually, I think I could do it. Let's put that there for the time being. And let's just pull over. Let's see. Ammo production's right there. Oh, right, don't have anything. Okay, yeah, I better go get my stuff. I'll take this with me. Alright, so we're gonna upgrade our ammo production into armor-piercing rounds, which should be pretty good. Oh my goodness. I'm not liking the amount of coal I'm seeing. I think we're... How much power are we using? Not a ton, so... Yeah. I think coal patches... Oh yeah, I know, yeah, coal patches are going... Oh, well, coal patches are running dry. Not dry, but... It's getting low. Yeesh. Definitely gonna need to start... Definitely gonna need to expand, get myself another bug, and another patch. There's one right down here, so I can just simply slot that in. In fact, I might just make this a dedicated power coal patch. Or coal power patch. You know what I mean. God, I didn't put fish right here, I guess. But there. Okay, what are we doing? Right, we're gonna increase ammo production. Silver linings, once I run out of these starter patches, I'll have some more space to work with for building a factory. That's something I can definitely say is would definitely be a benefit. Of course, that's down the road. Alright. We're not doing that bad, honestly. I need fast inserters. Which needs I need? Well, these. I think some of. Do I have? I don't have a box selecting. Ah. I didn't have a box set up for collecting green circuits. Don't know why I did. Don't know why I did that. All right. Okay. Nope. Nah. Nuh-uh. Okay. Okay, doing that. Improves ammo production here so I can get more production later. Yeah. Okay. Now I just simply need to create a we're gonna employ some slightly unsavory spaghetti. Do I not have a... I don't have anything collecting steel, do I? No, I don't. I'm definitely going to be needing that in the future, so I don't know why I don't have it now. There you go. Got steel plates coming up, along with copper. And my goodness, it's perfectly spaced. How much do I need? 6 should be good. Here we go. Effectively doubled up armor-piercing round production. That should definitely help out in the long run. With the amount of, with all those spider nest attacks I just did, I just boosted the boosted evolution up slightly. So it was definitely something I was gonna have to address sooner rather than later. But I think I think we made some definitely made some good progress today so far. I think the next thing I'll do is get that coal patch for the power, to increase power. Not increase, yeah, it's definitely gonna help to increase power, but the main thing will be just making sure I have more coal, so I don't run out of coal, so I don't run out of power. I could. I'm just now realizing I have solar panels. I kind of don't want to use solar panels, to be fair. Mainly because for solar power to work, you need a lot of them, and the problem is they only work during the day. So once daytime is over, you no longer have solar power. And here's the issue: when you have solar panels tied into the grid, the prime power will primarily come from the solar panels. So even if you have like a huge wall of like steam engines, like the ones I have, like these ones providing me power. Even if I have a ton of those, if I have solar panels, the power grid will primarily use the solar panels, which of course will switch off at night. So I think the only time the steam engines will even be used during the day is if power exceeds what I'm producing on solar. There is a solution to the issue, which is let me take a second to think here. That requires accumulators, but that requires quite a bit of accumulators, and as you might have noticed, I don't even have that researched yet. That's a bit down the road, and that's behind batteries, which is a part of chemical processing, which doesn't require blue signs, but it's something to be aware of. Point is, I don't really want to use solar panels if I can avoid it. I will definitely be employing solar panels down the road, but that'll be a different issue when that happens. Let's see. I'm gonna get myself. Let's see. I need miners. Definitely gonna need belts and all this stuff, so all that's needed. I think I'm gonna build myself some more quite a bit. More miners. That's what I need. More miners. Gun power poles for now, so it's not a big deal. Honestly, I don't even need that many miners, but I will down the road, which is why I'm gonna need more miners. So I think I'm gonna make myself some more while I'm en route to set up this coal mine. What are they doing? Okay. Let me just get the coal mine out the way. I quite frankly can't wait until I get my hands on nuclear power. That'll be awesome. All my power grid problems will be saved as soon as I get my hands on some nuclear power. I think there's a uranium patch like right there, and that's pretty rich, so looking forward to that. Unfortunately, that is definitely way down the road. I do believe that is locked behind. Yeah, that's locked behind blue science, so I'm still a ways away before. That's still quite a few a ways away. But hey, it's something to look forward to, I guess. I wonder if it bothers anybody how some of my designs don't line up perfectly. I'm not doing it on purpose, just how it ends up. And I wouldn't blame anybody for being bothered by it. I think I'd be bothered by it too. Or rather, I would if I didn't. I'm not super bothered by it, to be fair. To be frank. Okay, I think I know what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna build this like so. I do like when things line up well. Not only does it look better, but I don't know, it's easier. It requires less brain power. It requires less brain power for me to just think about. I have to commit less. I commit less brain power to just being aware of like any sort of intricacies behind the design, if that makes sense at all. Yep, definitely gonna need that extra coal. Okay. Before I go full in on this, I'm gonna set up the defensive perimeter. I'm thinking, yeah, definitely gonna need to set up some defenses right here, which should be easier considering how many cliffs there are. I say easy. It's gonna give me headaches. Put that away. Put that away as well. Don't need you. Let's see. We need Ammo. Guns and ammo. Alright. I should probably consider, yeah, I'm also going to get, I need more medium poles. Not like in dire need, but I am definitely going to need more of them because I've used up quite a few. Thankfully, the recipe's easy. Just need copper cables and iron sticks, so, which I can just handcraft, so. Just gonna need some. How many do I need actually? Let's see. Iron pole. I hate when I'm too far away. 4 of these. Probably just needs about 200. 4, 6, maybe 8. So about 4 stacks, I think. And then about 2 of these, I guess. Yeah, my math is correct. For once. But looks like I've reached the 2-hour goal. No, I'm not gonna quit right this minute. I'm gonna finish setting up this coal mine here, and I'm probably gonna call it there. But we have learned and somewhat demonstrated that we can in fact hit 2 hours without too much issue, provided I keep myself engaged and I've got goals to achieve, which which I imagine the further along we go, it'll be a lot easier to find those goals. So I'm definitely looking forward to further down the road when we start getting into much more complicated builds and much more complex problems to solve. Alright, there you go. Coal production increased. That just slot in just nicely here. It should also give us enough. The extra coal should definitely help, especially when I start expanding more power, because I'm definitely going to need to expand more power. Well, that said, I am just going to head back up. I will leave the the next game planned for later next stream. But with 2 hours being a much more honestly realistic number to shoot for now, I'm thinking the next goal will be to shoot for a 3-hour stream. That might be a bit tricky to do, but I don't see why not. Well, I don't see why I shouldn't at least try to shoot for it. So, as just a general reminder about the game plan, Tuesdays and Thursdays are the planned start. I might move towards Mondays and Fridays potentially. I think I'll wait until I have other games on the docket before I start expanding to Mondays and Thursdays. Sorry, Mondays and Fridays. So it'll just be Mondays and Thursdays for the time being. I know this is like the 7th stream, day 7, and I don't imagine I made a ton of progress in this game. Or maybe, I don't know if anyone would have expected more progress up to this point. If that's the case, I know it's a bit slow going. I would like to try to pick up speed. We'll see if that's possible. I'm not necessarily trying to meander, but I'm also not trying. This is also not a speed run, so hopefully that's acceptable. But progress is definitely being made. As long as progress is being made, I think we should be good. As far as this week is concerned, I do have a morning shift on Thursday, but thankfully I don't. But thankfully it's a short shift, so I'm thinking. It'll probably be an evening stream for that day. It'll probably be an evening stream for that day. It'll probably be an evening stream for that day. It'll probably be an evening stream for that day. It'll probably be an evening stream for that day. It'll probably be an evening stream for that day. It'll probably be an evening stream for that day. It'll probably be an evening stream for that day. It'll probably be an evening stream for that day. It'll probably be an evening stream for that day. It'll probably be an evening stream for that day. It'll probably be an evening stream for that day. It'll probably be an evening stream for that day. It'll probably be an evening stream for that day. It'll probably be an evening stream for that day. It'll probably be an evening stream for that day. It'll probably be an evening stream for that day. It'll probably be an evening stream for that day. It'll probably be an evening stream for that day. It'll probably be an evening stream for that day. It'll probably be an evening stream for that day. It'll probab I may end up if I end up with a headache or some issue and everything. I'm gonna try to shoot for powering through because to have. I do want to keep making progress on this, and I do want to have a much more regular stream schedule. Um, but that's the game plan going forward. And I am going to become I do have an idea for another potential game idea I could run with down the road. It'll be a little bit interesting, a little bit difficult, a little bit different, and it might be a bit more challenging because the ideas I'm running with in my head might make it a lot more challenging. So hopefully it's not. Hopefully it won't be. Hopefully it won't be too much of an issue. But won't know until we get there. But with that said, I want to thank everybody who was able to come in, which is all of 2 people, which is 2 more that I've gotten since I started this. So thank those who came for coming, and I look forward to for future streams. And I hope you are looking forward to those future streams as well. With that, I'm going to sign off here and thank you very much. Make sure everyone take care of themselves. And God bless.